The crystalline throne room of the Zitherian Empire gleamed with an otherworldly purple luminescence as Queen Zothara's 6 eyes narrowed dangerously. Her scaled fingers drummed against the armrest, each tap echoing through the vast chamber like a countdown to someone's doom. "Impossible," she hissed, her translator struggling to convey the venom in her voice. "No species has ever completed the trials of ascension on their first attempt. Certainly not these humans." Isabella Chen stood at attention beside the viewing screen, her military posture impeccable despite the tension crackling through the air. As the human diplomatic envoy to the Zitherian court, she'd witnessed the Queen's fury before, but never quite like this. "Your Majesty," Isabella began carefully. Leo Martinez followed all protocols exactly as silence. The Queen's voice boomed, her crown of living tendrils writhing with agitation. "Your species has been part of the Galactic Council for merely 3 cycles. 3. The Zitherians have ruled for 10,000 years, and not once have any of our finest warriors completed the trials without at least 5 attempts." On the massive holographic display, the replay showed Leo's performance in excruciating detail. The trials of ascension were legendary across 12 star systems, a test of physical prowess, mental acuity, and strategic thinking that had humbled countless alien champions. The challenge was simple in concept, but devastating in execution. Navigate a constantly shifting maze while solving complex quantum puzzles, all while defending against autonomous combat drones. Programmed with the tactical knowledge of 100 civilizations, Isabella watched the replay for what must have been the 20th time. Leo, with his characteristic easy grin and messy dark hair, had entered the trial arena with nothing but standard-issue human equipment. No enhancements, no exotic technology, just a human man with a sharp mind and apparently nerves of steel. The first phase had been brutal. The maze had reconfigured itself every 30 seconds, walls materializing and dissolving in patterns designed to induce spatial disorientation. Most species required extensive neural mapping just to maintain their sense of direction. Leo had simply adapted. He'd marked his path with small pieces of reflective tape from his equipment pack, creating a breadcrumb trail that moved with him, treating the shifting environment not as an obstacle but as a dynamic system to be navigated. "He cheated," Queen Zothara declared, though her tone suggested even she didn't believe it. "The Shanjazas found no violations, Your Majesty," Isabella replied. "Everything he used was standard equipment provided to all participants." The Queen's tendrils coiled tighter. The replay continued. Phase 2 had showcased the quantum puzzle's mathematical problems that existed in superposition, until observed, requiring contestants to hold multiple potential solutions simultaneously in their minds. The Zitherians, with their advanced multi-lobed brains, typically excelled here. Yet Leo had approached it differently. Instead of trying to process all possibilities at once, he'd used what he called intuitive elimination, a human concept that seemed to baffle the alien observers. He'd felt his way through the problems, using pattern recognition and educated guessing in ways that their rigidly logical puzzle matrices hadn't been designed to counter. Where others calculated, Leo had simply figured it out. "Primitive guesswork," the Queen muttered. "Lucky accidents." But Isabella could see the calculations running behind those 6 alien eyes. Luck didn't account for a perfect score. The final phase appeared on screen, now the combat simulation. This was where Queen Zothara had expected the human to fail spectacularly. The drones used predictive algorithms based on millions of combat encounters. They learned, they adapted. They should have been unbeatable for a newcomer. Leo had lasted exactly 4 minutes. Before discovering their weakness, the drones were too perfect. They optimized every move, every strike, every defensive position. They didn't make mistakes because they couldn't conceive of intentionally suboptimal choices. So Leo had started making mistakes on purpose. He'd left openings that were too obvious to be real, executed feints that were clearly telegraphed, stumbled when he should have been balanced. The drone's algorithms had frozen, trying to process what must be a trap. In those microseconds of hesitation, Leo had struck, not with brute force. Humans weren't the strongest species, but with creativity that the machine's databases had no framework for understanding. He'd completed the entire trial in 47 minutes. The previous record, held by a Zitherian war champion, was 3 hours and 12 minutes. "I want him tested for enhancements," the Queen demanded. "Genetic modification, neural implants, something. Humans are too new, too primitive. This cannot be natural ability." Isabella pulled up Leo's medical scans on her datapad. Full bioscan results, Your Majesty. Completely baseline human physiology. No modifications of any kind. The Galactic Medical Board has certified the results. The Queen rose from her throne, her impressive 2.5-meter frame towering over the chamber. Her robes of office, woven from starlight itself, billowed despite the absence of any breeze. Then explain to me, Envoy Chen, how a species that only achieved faster than light travel 50 years ago can outperform civilizations that have been spacefaring for millennia. Isabella allowed herself a small smile. This was the question every human had been waiting for someone to ask. Your Majesty, humanity spent 300,000 years on a single planet, locked in constant competition with each other and our environment. We didn't have the luxury of slow, steady development. We adapted or we died. We learned to think creatively because rigid thinking meant extinction. We're pattern recognition machines who got really, really good at solving novel problems with limited resources. She gestured to Leo on the screen, frozen mid-victory pose. Leo isn't exceptional by human standards. He's a mechanical engineer from Nevada who plays puzzle games for fun. What you're seeing isn't enhanced ability. It's what happens when a species that evolved to survive ice ages, predators, and each other decides to try something new. The Queen was silent for a long moment, her tendrils still except for one that tapped thoughtfully against her chin. The Council, she said slowly, is going to have to reconsider the human position in the galactic hierarchy. With respect, Your Majesty, Isabella said, her smile widening. That's exactly what we were hoping you'd say. Outside the throne room, Leo was probably already pestering the alien engineers about how their ships worked, completely unaware that he'd just shifted humanity's standing in the galaxy. Sometimes, Isabella thought, the best revenge was simply being human. The end.